Hello everyone, welcome again to another tutorial. So in today's tutorial, this is what we are going to make today, a phone pouch. You can use this pouch for any type of phone. This is iPhone, I put it in, Android, even Android, and any type of phone at all. This is how it's measured. Very cute, very beautiful. And if you are wondering which color you want to make, here is the blue one. And also I have it in black, very pretty. And I have it in this beautiful yellow. So this is what I'm going to teach you how to make today. Let's get started. Hi, welcome back again. So this is the materials we are going to use. I have here size 8mm bead, and I have here 18mm per bead. 18mm, that's what we are going to use. Use D ring, 8 3/4 inches metal ring. This is how it's looking like. Also, I have here 6mm metallic gold bead over here. That's what we are going to use. So again, we need ring, we need metallic gold bead, pearl, only one, you need only one, and then any bead of your choice of color. 50-pound beading wire. This is how the thickness is looking like. Okay, 50 pound. This is in 50 pound. That's what I'm going to use to make this pouch. And I have a cutter to cut loose thread. Okay, now here is the line that I cut about 25 inches long, and now I'm going to start with 4 bead. I'm going to thread all 4 bead on this line. String 4 bead on the line. This is the 4 bead I string on the line. So I'm going to hold the last one and go through with my other line. This one, then I'm going to go through with my other line and pull like this. Now we have 4 flower. Okay, they are sharing one in common, so we are going to add 3 3 3 to this. So on each line, one bead on each line, and I'm going to cross both ends of my line into the 3rd bead and pull. Cross into this one and pull down like this. Now we have 2 flowers done. This is the technique we are going to use throughout the entire weave. We have 2 now. Now we are going to do it again. On each line, I'm going to string one bead on each line. Then I'm going to cross both ends of my line into this one. Cross the line and pull. Now we have 3. I'm going to repeat this again. I put one bead on each line, okay? On each line, one. Then cross both ends of the line into the 3rd one and pull. Now we made 4. This is 4 flowers we made. Now repeat one more time. Now I'm going to cross into this one and pull. So we have 5. 1 2 3 4 5. So I'm going to continue to make 8. Okay, make 8. Here is my 8. If you count, it's 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So we are going to turn on this 8 to make 9. On this line, I'm adding 3 bead on it. I'm adding 3 bead on this line. All 3 bead goes here. 3 bead, okay? I'm going to cross with my other line and pull. That way my line can turn on the side so I can start a new row. This is how it is. So if you count the flowers in all, it's 9. Okay, if you count all, this is 9. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. We made 8, then we turn on that 8 to make 9. So on each line, 3 bead. I add 3 bead to my line. And I'm going to go through the next bead. I'm pulling my line through this bead. And I'll be adding 2 bead to this line. 2 bead. There's the 2 bead I add to my line. Then I'm going to cross with the other line and pull. Like this. Now into the next bead. 2 bead. I'm going to go to the next bead again. And now add 2 bead to my line. Into the next bead. 2 bead. So I'm going through the edge bead and I'm adding 2 bead to my other line. Into the next bead, I'll be adding 2 bead to my line, 2 bead. Cross and pull. Into the next bead, 2 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead again into the next one. I want all beginner, if you're a beginner, I want you to understand, I add 2 bead to my line. Now I'm going to go through the last bead over here. This is the last one. I'm going to pull my line through, so pay attention here, okay? I'm going to go through this last bead, then the same line, I'm going to add 2 bead to that line. That way my line can turn to the side again, so I can start another row. So I add all 2 bead to this line. The same line I used to go through the bead, I add the bead to it. Okay, now my line turned to the side. Now I can start a new row. This line, my line is here, okay? It turned to the side. So this line, 3 bead. It's on the left side for me, so I'm just going to flip it to my side, right side, okay? Now I'm going to go through the next bead. The same technique we are going to use into the next bead. 2 bead. Into the next bead. Add 2 bead to the line. Into the next, 2 bead. This is a very pretty phone pouch. Into the next bead, it can hold any kind of phone that you have. 2 bead. It doesn't matter the brand of your phone, it can hold it. Now this is how it's looking like, okay? I come to the end again. Now I'm going through the last bead over here. Then on the same line, this one, I'm adding 2 bead to it. 2 bead. You see how the line turned to the side? Now we have to start another roll again. This line, I add 3 bead to the line. Into the next bead, 2 bead. I'm going through the edge bead and I'm adding 2 bead to the other line. We cross and pull. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 rows. We continue to the end. I'm about to complete this row too, and I'm going to go through the last bead over here, and on the same line I add 2 bead to it. And this is how the weave is looking like. So this is the technique we are going to use throughout the entire weave. Okay, this is how it's looking like. And now we make 1, 2, 3, 4. We make 4 rows. So we are going to continue to make 32 rows. Okay, like this. Continue long 32 rows. That's what we are going to make. We're going to make 32 and come back. I'll do that off camera. And now I'm back with my 32 rows. Look at how long it is. It's a little bit long, but I'm going to show you how we are going to put this together. Look at how it is. This is the front view. This is the back view. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same. It doesn't matter how the back or front. So I'm going to show you. We are going to leave 2 in the middle. 1, 2, 32. When you count here, it's 32, and here is 9. Okay, 32 by 9. That's what it is. And now count 15. I'm going to count 15. Now this is 15. I'm going to fold on 15 over here. I'm going to fold the first one on 15. Count on this side. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you fold on 15 over here. Fold here, 15. This is the 2 we leave at the base. Okay, this is 15 and that's the 2. So here is my line. We are going to close the side of it. These two beads, I'm going to pull my line through these two. I'm going to pull my line through these two beads. Here's my line, okay? Take a look at it. In two beads, not three. I'm adding two beads to my line, like this. Now I'm going to cross with my other line, the last bead, and pull. Now I'm going to pull my line, this line, into this and this bead, the one over here. I'm pulling it through the first, and this is the second one. And the number of bead I need, only one bead. I'm going to pull my both ends of my line into this bead and pull. Now I'm going to go through. This is how it's looking like. You see, we're starting the side, this line into the next bead. Pick up one bead from the side. This line, add two bead to it. Two bead. I add two bead to my line, cross and pull. This line into this bead and one on the side, this one. Pull it through this one too. Now my line is in three bead. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Add one, cross both ends of your line into the one bead and pull. Now this line, I'm going to go through this bead, only one bead. I pick up one from this side, and I'll be adding two beads to my line. Now I'm going to go through this and this one. I'm going to go through the middle and the side bead. And now I need only one to complete this row. Cross both ends of your line into it and pull. This line into the next bead, this one. Go to this, add two bead, cross ends of the line into it and pull. I'm going to go through this and this one. The first one, the middle bead, and one from the side. I'm adding one bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Pull down. Now this line into the next bead. Go to the side bead, add two bead, cross and pull. Now into this and the side. The middle, pick up one from the side, add one bead, cross your line into it and pull. This line into the next. I'm going through this one on the side. I'm adding two bead to my line, crossing the other line into the last one and pull. This line into the next. I'm going through the middle and this one and the one on the side. I'm adding one bead, crossing my line into it, pull down. In this bead, I'm going to pull my line through this bead, and I'll be adding two beads to my line. I'm going to cross and pull. Now I'm going to go through this and this one, the one on the side. I'm pulling through this middle one and this one on the side. Now I'm going to add one bead to my line, cross and pull. I'm going to go through this bead on the side. I'm adding two beads to my line, cross and pull. I'm going to go through the middle and the side. Go to the middle one, then I'm going to pick one on the side again. Add one bead, cross and pull into the next one. I'm adding two beads to my line, into the one in the middle and the one on the side. I'm going to add one bead, cross into it and pull. Now this one into the next bead. I'm picking one on this side, adding two beads to my line, go through the middle, this and this one and this one. Add one bead, cross both ends of your line into it, pull down. This line into the next, add two beads. This, go through the middle and pick one from the side, one bead, cross, pull down. Into the next, add two bead, cross and pull. Now go through the middle, this and this one. I'm going to go to this and the one on the side. I'm picking one bead, cross my ends into it, pull down. This into the next bead. Add two bead. Into the next, this and this one. The middle first, and then pick up one from the side, add one bead, cross and pull. So I'm going to complete this one side so that you do the other side yourself. So I'm going through the next bead, I add two beads to my line. We're about to finish this side. I'm going through the middle and pick one from the side, this one. And now I'm adding one bead, crossing my other end into that bead and pull. Now this is the last row. I'm going to go through this one. The last bead over here, I'm going to pull my line through. I add two beads to my line. I cross and then pull. Now I'm going to go through this and this one. The one in the middle, that's the last bead, and the one on the side. Then we complete this side, okay? I add one bead to my line, I cross and pull. Now look at how it's looking like, very straight, very firm and very beautiful. So now what I'm going to do is to lock the line into the bead. So I'm going to weave back into the bead, weave a little bit further into the bead before I trim the line off. That's how you lock it, so the line will not slip out and make the bead loose. So you pull and pull tight and weave the rest of the line into the bead, weave it, then trim it off. You use your cutter or scissors and then trim it off. The other side will be done off camera, so complete yours and I'll meet you back here. Okay, now I'm done with mine. Here are both sides completed. This is how it's looking like, and this is the base of it. Very pretty, very beautiful and wide. I'll show you how we are going to attach the ring to the side of the pouch. And this time we are going to use 6mm metallic bead to make the belt over there. And now I'm going to show you. Now I'm putting my line through this bead over here, count down to here. Okay, this is where my bead is. This line, I'm adding 3 beads to my line. We are using the same technique, 4 flower beading. That's what we are using over here. Into the next bead, go through the next bead, and this line the same like this one, add 2 beads. This line 3 beads. I'm going to cross into the last one and pull. Now I'm going to go through the next bead, 2 beads. This line, I'm adding 3 beads to it. Cross into the last one and pull. Now I'm going to pull the next line through the next bead into the next bead. Pulling through the next bead. I'm adding 2 beads to my line. I'm going to cross and pull. This is how it's looking like. Now I'm taking the ring and I'm going to wrap my little bolt we create here around it. I'm going to pull it through like this. Okay, pull it through like this. Now this line, I add 1 bead to the line. Okay, I want you to watch closely. I'm going to go through this bead, not this one but the next one. Okay, so I'm pulling my line through this bead. I'm going to take one bead and cross both ends of my line into it and pull. And I'm going to go through the next bead, this one. I pull my line through this one, okay, this one here. Pull it through. Now the last bead on the edge of the gold bead, I pull my line through it. I take one bead, then I'm going to cross both ends of my line into it and pull. That's it. That's how we attach the ring to the side of the bag. But now I'm going to weave the rest of the line into the bead. Make sure it's well secured before I trim it off. You see now it's flexible in it. It's flexible, not tight at all. What I'm doing here, I'm just weaving the rest of the line into the bead. Make sure it's well secured enough before I trim it off. So this is how it's looking like. Look how flexible it is. It's not tight on it. Now I'm trimming my line. Now we are going to repeat the same thing on the other side of the pouch over here. Now we are going to put the ring over here again, like this, so it can match. Now I'm pulling my line through this bead. I add 3 beads to my line. I'm going to go to the next bead. Go to this bead, 2 beads. I'm going to add 3 beads to this line, cross and pull into the next. I add 2 beads to my line. Now this line, I add 3 beads to it. I'm going to cross and pull. I'm going to go through the next bead, this one, into this one, and I add 2 beads to the line. Now we have 3 rows. So I'm going to wrap this belt around my ring, and I'm going to add 1 bead to my line. I'm going to go through this bead over here, take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull like this. Now I'm going to pull my line to the next bead, this one, and into this bead. Now I'm going to take 1 bead and cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Voila, that's how it's done. Okay, now we complete the second part. I'm just weaving the rest of the line into the bead. This is how it's looking like. Very flexible. We are going to use the middle 3 bead over here to create a belt. So I'm pulling my line through the first 3. I add 3 beads to my line. I'm going to go to the next one, 2 bead. Into the third one, this one over here, I'm going to add 2 beads to the same line. I'm going to cross and pull. This line, I add 3 beads to it. I'm going to go through the next bead, into the next bead, 2 bead. I'm going to go to the next bead, this one, and I'll be adding 2 bead. This is how we are going to continue and make 11 rows. So I add 3 beads to my line. I'm going to go into the next bead, 2 bead. Into the next, I add 2 beads to my line. The same technique, the same weave. This line, 3 bead. I'm going to go through the next bead, 2 bead. Into the next, this line, 2 bead. This line, 3 bead. I start a new row. I'm going to go through the next bead and add 2 bead to my line. 2 bead. Now this is the 4th or the 5th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we are going to create 11 rows over here. This is 4, 5. I'm going to add 6 more. So now I'm on the last one. Now I'm on my last row over here. The same technique, we start with the back. That's what we are weaving here. Nothing fancy. I'm just using the smaller bead. Now I'm going to make my way to come to the middle bead. So I'm going to weave this line through my bead. That way I can come to the middle bead. To make that pointy, the triangular shape at the end, we have to come to the middle bead. So I cross into this middle bead. Now I'm going to hold the other line and work my way through the bead and cross the same thing into the middle bead. I'm going through this one over here. Now I cross. I'm going to cross into the middle bead like this. Okay, now I have both ends of my line opposite direction in the middle bead like this. Now I'm going to add 3 beads to my line. Any line, okay, any line, doesn't matter. So I'm adding it to this line and I'm going to cross and pull. So when you cross, this is how you get the end, the pointy, the triangular shape of the end. That's how you get it. Now I'm just weaving the rest of my line into the bead and then secure my line and trim it off. This is how it's looking like. Very, very beautiful. So right here, I'm just weaving the rest of my line into the bead before I trim it off. Weave it a little bit longer, a little bit deep into the bead like this. Look at how beautiful, nice it's looking like. Now this is what we are going to use as a flap on it, like this, a little belt. So what is going to happen now, we are going to use, this is how it's looking like. So here we are going to make a loop. This is my line. This is my line, okay? I'm going to pull it through the tip over here, this bead. And I'm stringing my bead on it. I'm going to string bead on the line. So in all, I string 12, okay? This is 11 plus the one that I pull my line through, making 12 in all. This is 12 bead total. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold the end. I'm going to go through 1 bead like this. Now I'm going to put the line through all this bead round the ring. I'm going through each and every bead. Don't leave any behind. Now I'm going to go through this one. So now I have both at one place. I'm going to tie over here and make sure it's well secured. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tie nice and neat in between the beads like this. Now the rest of this line, I'm just weaving it into the bead. Make sure it's well secured enough. If you want to go round into the bead the second time, if your hole is big enough, you can still do it, just to make sure it's well secured and nice. I'm going through all this bead again. Now I trim it off. I'm going to weave the rest of this line into the bead a little further before I trim it off. Sometimes the holes are very tight. Okay, now we got it. This is how it's looking like. So we make the loop. We're done making the loop. Where the loop ends, landed, that's where we are going to put our bead. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the middle of it. This is the middle of our pouch. I'm counting 9. So this is where we are going to put our pearl bead. Okay, you count 9 down. You get my pearl bead, then we continue. This is the 18mm pearl bead that we have. Now that is what I'm going to use to attach to the bead. This is my line. I have my bead, and here I'm going to use 4mm bead to lock the hole. Okay, this is how it is, very small. I'm going to pull my line through this 4mm bead like this. Then I'm pulling through the pearl bead. like this. Okay, you pull it through. Now open the line and put one bead on each line. Now count to the middle. That is the knife we count. I'm going to cross both ends of my line into this bead, the knife bead that we count. I'm pushing the line through it. This one go this way, and the other one I'm going to cross it the other way, the opposite way. Now both ends are in. This is 9, okay? But if you want to count down, you count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Now pull and pull tight. Then I'm going to weave the rest of the line into the bead before I trim it off. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to weave the rest of the line into the bead. Then when I have both ends together, I'm going to tie and then continue to weave a little bit. Now I have both ends together. Okay, I weave through the bead, have both ends together, then I'm tying over here. Tie and tie nice and neat. I'm going to tie once again like this. This is how it's looking like, very firm. It's landed well in the middle. This is where it is. So here I'm just going to weave the rest of my line back into the bead. Make sure it well secured before I cut it off. That's what I'm going to do. So you see me here, I'm weaving the rest of the line into the bead. Now let's try to lock it and see if it's going to lock perfectly. See? That's what I'm talking about. It's beautiful. You remove it, put it on like this. This is how it's looking like. Very, very beautiful. The colors are very beautiful and bright. So this is where we are going to attach the strap. So I'm going to start with the strap, and we are going to use the same technique for flower beading. Put 4 beads on the line. I'm crossing both ends of my line into the bead and pull. The same technique, I add one bead to each line. Then I'm going to cross both ends of my line into this bead and pull. Like this. And we are going to continue. We're starting with the metallic gold bead. That's what we are starting with. So now I'm crossing both of my line into this bead and pull. Now we have 3 flowers. This is how it's looking like. We have 3 flowers, 1, 2, 3. And now we are going to make 5 of these. This is 5 flowers that we make with the metallic gold bead. If you count it, is 5. Now we are going to continue with yellow bead. Okay, we are going to continue with this one. The same technique is what we are going to use over here. Now I add one bead on each line. I'm crossing both ends of my line into the bead and pull. We are going to continue. I want you to make this for yourself. I want you to make it long as you want. Wrap it around your body and see where it lands, how you want it to, the back to be on your side, okay, the pouch. So I'm going to go ahead and make this long to my desired length, and this is how it's looking like. We start with metallic gold bead. This is yellow. You see, we start with metallic gold bead from the beginning, and when you make the length that you want, you are going to end again with metallic gold bead. Put 5. We make 5 rows. We are going to end in 5 rows with metallic gold bead. So here I am done with mine. This is how it's looking like. We started with metallic gold bead 5. I make it long. Then I end again with metallic gold bead, and this is how it's looking like. This is how long the strap is, but you can make yours as long as you want. So this is 5, okay? I end in 5 with metallic gold bead. Very pretty. This is how long it is. Make yours as long as you want. So let's wrap it around this ring. Hold this. I'm going to wrap this metallic gold bead belt around the ring like this. Okay. Now, and this is how my line is. This is where my line is. This line, I'm going to add 1 bead to it. going to add one bead to my line. So this is the bead I put on the line, okay? And I'm going to hold this line. I'm going to pull it through this bead right here, the gold bead. So I'm pulling it through the gold bead like this. Pull and pull both lines together. Now I'm taking one bead and I'm going to cross both ends of my line into it and pull like this. That's all, and that's what we have to do. So for the rest of this line, I'm going to whip it back into the bead. Make sure it's well secured. I'm going to bring it together to one place, both of the lines, tie it, and then whip the rest of the line into the bead and then trim it off. I'm going to go through this one like this. Now I have both ends of my line together, okay? This is the back view and this is the front view. So here my both lines are together. I'm going to hold it and tie. I'm going to tie here, tie in between the line. If you want to tie in between the bead, tie in between the beads. Now I'm going to hold this and whip the rest of the line into the bead and then trim it off. And that's all we need to do. So I'm going to do the second part. I'm going to hook it to the ring like this. Now I'm going to take my line. I'm adding one bead to my line. Hold it like this. Then I'm going to put this end through the edge bead. Then I'm going to hold this one and go through this gold bead over here and pull. Pull and pull tight. Now I'm going to take one bead and cross both ends of my line into it and pull. I'm crossing both ends of my line into this gold bead and pull like this. Pull. This is how it's looking like. Now I'm going to whip the rest of the line into the bead. Make sure it's well secured before I trim it off. I'm going through all this bead, whipping through the bead, making sure my line is locked into the bead nicely before I trim it off. So now that I have both ends at one place right here, I'm going to tie again like how we did for the first one. Okay, both ends are here, both lines are here. I'm going to tie in between the bead and don't tie on the bead. So the rest of the line, I'm going to whip it back and then trim it off. This is how our beaded phone pouch is looking like. Very beautiful. This is the strap. Make yours as long as your heart desire, how you want it. And here, this phone pouch, this is the side. These are both sides that we want. The opening, this is how it's look like. You can use it for any kind of phone you have, iPhone or Android. So here is the measurement. We have 7 inches over here. Okay, let me turn it this way. This is 7 inches long. And here is 4 inch 1/4, 4 and 1/4 inch. So this pouch is big enough. Let's put it on try and see. This is how it's looking like, okay? Let's put the phone in it and see if it's going to fit in. See, it fit in, and there's a big room left, so it can fit any kind of phone you have. I thank you for watching. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your love and support for my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also turn on your notifications for any new video that I'll be uploading so you don't miss on it. Thank you so much. Our cell phone pouch is done, and I hope you make one for yourself and for your friends. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.